The reports of 42 person were on you. I never won. Try lose you, try them not on me. Well.
Guys, this is how they cross from Mozambique to South Africa. Police are there, soldiers are watching them. No one is doing nothing. They just look at them when they cross to South Africa. The police that are in Pretoria, Joburg, you are in big problem. Extra job is coming.
The question is, why is there always violence after election? You keep hearing post-election violence. What is the reason? Anyways, it is all over in the news that at least 6,000 inmates, that is prisoners, were broken free from the high security prison in the Mozambican capital, Maputo. Even though some people were saying that is not true, that they are not up to 6,000, they're about 1,200. And some people also said these prisoners did not escape, that they were deliberately allowed to leave. Like it was a deliberate action by the government to allow them escape or allow them leave the prison as a distraction tactic. So which of them is true? Did they escape, or were they allowed by the government to leave as their tactics? But the main thing is that there is post-election violence which led to all of this. So what exactly, or how many exactly are these people that left the prison? Were they 6,000 or were they 1,200? Were they allowed deliberately to leave the prison, or did they escape? If you know the correct information, let me know in the comment section, because I mean, so many people are saying different things about this news.
Chaos in Mozambique means 1,500 prisoners have left the prisons and are roaming the streets after a lot of political unrest as a result of recent election results. What's happening now? Well, it looks like the country is in turmoil, and it looks like it's going to remain this way until everything obviously gets back into order and the chaos and protests stop. This is what's happening in Mozambique right now.
This is very concerning for South Africa. So last week it was reported that 6,000 convicted criminals managed to escape from prisons in Mozambique. However, it's believed that many of these escaped convicts are now entering South Africa illegally. According to one of these escaped inmates who was interviewed by ENCA, many of these criminals have bribed our officials to gain entry into South Africa. Now we potentially have thousands of escaped Mozambique criminals on the loose in our country. And as of yet, the South African government has made no announcement on how they will handle the situation. This is crazy. A massive concrete wall is currently being built on the border between South Africa and Mozambique. The wall will be 160 kilometers long, costing between 85 and 275 million rand to construct. Currently, they've only completed about 5 kilometers of the wall so far. The South African government and the KwaZulu-Natal government is building this wall to curb the theft of motor vehicles and movement of illicit goods between the two countries. It's also intended to prevent the illegal entry into South Africa from Mozambique. The wall will have surveillance cameras and other advanced security measures. Do you think this is a good idea?
6,000 prisoners escape in Mozambique. We can be sure that some of them are already in South Africa. We can also be 100% sure that there are no borders in Europe gang is still standing on business, believing that people should not be deported, although they came here illegally. Africa is for all who live in it. In the name of Pan-Africanism, one Africa, anyone can just cross South African borders, and we will mold our system to accommodate them and start speaking of documenting people that come here illegally, although we do not even know what that looks like. We are not even discussing what the documentation of people that come here illegally is going to look like and the processes. We are not discussing it, but we are still okay with them coming over here illegally. And KZN is going to feel it. Mpumalanga is going to feel it. KZN is already struggling with tribal wars, so and crime as well. It's going through the roof.
This video goes out to the people of Mozambique. It came to my attention recently that Mozambique is also going through a lot of chaos. I just wanted to send my virtual well wishes to the people of Mozambique. Again, I don't know too much about the southern African part of the continent, which is why I barely speak on it. But if just want to let you guys know that I'm rooting for you guys. I know it's so unfortunate, like, which is typically the case of Africa, right? When two greedy powerhouses fight, it's the poor people and the people that suffer, that die, right? The rich barely die, but the poor people die. And it's so unfortunate. I saw over 250 people have been killed as a result of this election protest, I believe. And over 600 prisoners have broke out of jail. I just wanted to put this video out there that I empathize and I sympathize, and I'm sending well wishes to the people of Mozambique. Again, I'm doing my research. As you can see, why is Mozambique in chaos? I'm doing my own research. At least 6,000 inmates. Oh, it's not even 600, it's 6,000. It's not even 600, it's 6,000 inmates. Wow, shit. Okay. Sending my well wishes. I'll do my research. I'll make a video based on what I know, but I'm sending my well wishes.
There is so much going on in Africa right now. But just to let you guys know, there's a war going on also in Mozambique, and the situation is getting worse.
Just imagine 1,500 prisoners escaping in the middle of an election protest. This very thing just happened in Mozambique. More than 1,500 prisoners in Mozambique this week escaped using political chaos as their cover. This all happened during protests over disputed election results that have rocked the nation since October. Protesters have demonstrated since the Constitutional Court confirmed the ruling party's win, but reduced their candidate's margin of victory. While protesters clashed with the police near the prison, inmates broke down the wall and made their escape. The violence has caused devastation. 33 people have been killed, and Mozambique's capital, Maputo, has been left looking like a ghost town. Businesses have shuttered up, and the streets have been left deserted as tensions boil over. Frelimo, the ruling party, have held power since 1975, but recent accusations of election fraud have sparked months of unrest. Opposition leader Venancio Moslande, who fled the country, warned of a popular uprising if the election results weren't overturned. So far, 150 escapees have been captured. This prison break adds issues to a crisis already marked by protests, looting, and the loss of 100 plus lives in just 3 months. Mozambique's unrest isn't just a local issue or an African story. It's a reminder of the fragility of democracy in some parts of the world. What do you think? Can Mozambique find peace?
South Africa, meanwhile, are still enjoying Christmas. There's a serious problem. There's a serious problem because in Mozambique, over 6,000 prisoners, they have escaped in a maximum security prison. So it's reported that these prisoners, they have overpowered the guards or the wardens and took some of the AK-47, of which is the firearms that they are using to safeguard the prison. So they took those firearms and escaped. They are somewhere in Mozambique. I'm just worried to the Border Management Authority of South Africa, they should make sure with these people, they don't come to South Africa, because of if they come to South Africa, guys, we are in a deep problem. And the other thing, I highly doubt these people, they have escaped in prison. They were just released randomly, because we all see this is a political strategy, and the political instability, and the government of Mozambique is not stable. So they want just to cause the chaos in the country.
I would actually feel guilty as an African citizen if I didn't speak about this at least once. What's going on in Mozambique is insane, and if you have not checked it out yet, please go and just read up. I just think it's mad that in the climate of everything, everyone is chatting about Kamala and Trump, everyone is chatting about, global issues that are going on all over the... Meanwhile, the Mozambican government cut off social media for everyone for days so that they couldn't post about what was happening. So yeah, I use my voice for jokes and for chatting rubbish, but this is a time that I must seriously at least attempt to use my platform to share some important information.
They're trying to call it the biggest scandal of all time, but I'll leave it up to you guys to judge. But tell me how Mozambique politicians are facing court right now in Brooklyn, New York. Well, it's all because of the tuna bond scandal, or should I call it an affair? Now, you cannot deny Mozambique is blessed with natural resources. Should I go down the list? Fine. Rich fishery grounds, minerals like graphites, or how about natural gas? But if there's one thing Mozambique is probably missing, is infrastructure. So along enters... He's not what you think. He's a French-Lebanese businessman named Safa, who runs this company called Private Invest, which is a shipbuilding company based out of UAE. Now, he approached the Mozambique government officials with this project aimed in boosting the fishing industry and the maritime security in Mozambique. Now, 3 state-owned companies in Mozambique jumped at the opportunity, but was very odd, all right, if you think about it. 2 out of the 3, I'm going to say allegedly, even though there's a lot of information out there, were owned by the Ministry of Defense and Secret Service. So it's like, we couldn't get Ministry of Economic Development, we couldn't get Ministry of Agriculture and Food. You guys are interested in pushing this fish project? Anyways, these state-owned companies managed to get a hold of, get this, $2 billion from major banks. One is called Credit Suisse, the other one is called VTB. Now, let me say something. Us regular folks are having a hard time simply getting $50 from the bank without them asking you how long you've been on planet Earth, what's your future goals, what's your dietary restrictions. Yet these guys over here managed to finesse $2 billion without a feasible plan. Now, my assumption is the banks were probably in on it, allegedly, because projects in Africa will always be in vogue. Now, part of this scandal that rocked me is that these companies assured the banks that the project was guaranteed by the government, meaning if anything goes wrong, the Mozambicans will cover the cost. But see, something doesn't make sense if you think about it. These companies are moving way too fast. They got a lot of clearance. Makes you kind of think if there's an inside man, right? Like a senior official to help move things along. Well, see, this is how Manuel Chang comes in. See, I'm going to put a break right here because I clearly see your popcorn is running low and your tea needs a refill. But we're going to get back to how chain players like him woke up the IMF.
It's a story that reads like a movie script, but is shockingly real. 6,000 inmates recently escaped from prisons in Mozambique, with some managing to cross into South Africa undetected. Reporter Moloko Moloto tracked down one of these fugitives who agreed to speak to us exclusively. Now, he described how he managed to bypass what's supposed to be tightened border security. He also revealed that bribery played a significant role in facilitating his crossing and claimed that officials on both sides of the border were involved.
We have the Border Management Authority, which is an agency of government here in South Africa that is manning our border. If you managed to come through, did you come through the rightful channels, the official channels, or you skipped the border? Were you not detected?
I didn't come through rightful channels because remember, if I had to come through rightful channels, it means I will have been picked up by the Mozambican authorities on their side. So I had to use other means, you know. And there, remember, even the officials there, everyone is hungry, everyone wants money there. So there are ways. Whether you go by the forest, whether you go by the gates, there is always a way. In all the borders, like even Swaziland, from Mozambique to Swaziland, anywhere in the world, there's always a way. There's always that 1% of someone who's going to assist you. Obviously, at that time I had to bribe someone to come into the country. Yes, I've done that. But we have to bribe people there by the mountain.
Are they South African government officials?
Both sides. Both sides.
Are you prepared to tell us how much you paid them?
That's nothing, but that's nothing, but at least it's something for their pocket.
So meaning you paid them little money?
It's not a little money because now they already knew that there was